Before the fires of Pompeii turned to ash and the empire's marble melted into dust, there was a secret whispered through the palaces of Rome. A story of purity and corruption, of gods and mortals who dared to play with desire and divinity. A story of the woman the Romans called the Bride of the Fire, a Vestal virgin who may have loved the devil himself. Rome was a city obsessed with control. Its armies conquered the earth, its laws bound the living, and its gods demanded perfection. At the heart of that control stood the Vestal virgins, 6 women chosen as children, sworn to 30 years of chastity, guardians of the eternal flame of Vesta. As long as that flame burned, Rome would endure, but if it ever went out, the empire would crumble. The penalty for breaking the vow of chastity was not death by sword, but something far worse, burial alive. The body was too sacred to be touched by blood, so the condemned Vestal was lowered into a tomb beneath the earth, given bread and oil, enough for a few final days of breath. Then the stone was sealed, and silence swallowed her. But in the time of Emperor Domitian, a ruler feared for his cruelty and his paranoia, one Vestal's story was different. Her name was Cornelia, and rumor said she was visited by something unholy. It began with dreams. Night after night, she claimed, she saw a figure cloaked in smoke, his voice like thunder underwater. He promised her freedom and truth if she would listen. She awoke to find the sacred flame flickering lower than ever before. The priests whispered that she had been touched by evil. Rome's temples hid many secrets, but none so strange as the cults that thrived in their shadows. While senators debated and generals bathed in glory, the people turned to older gods, gods of wine, frenzy, and forbidden pleasure. The Bacchanalia, outlawed years before, still survived underground. Their followers worshipped Dionysus, or as the Romans called him, Liber, the god who freed mortals from shame. And some believed that the so-called devil Cornelia dreamed of was no demon at all, but the echo of Liber himself, the god who tempted Rome to feel. Domitian hated such cults. He saw in them the chaos that threatened order, women dancing with torches in the night, slaves and nobles mingling as equals, masks and chants blurring every boundary. So when word spread that a Vestal virgin might be involved, he found the perfect excuse to destroy what remained of Rome's forbidden faiths. But Cornelia did not confess. When the priests questioned her, she said, "I have not broken my vow. The god came to me not in body but in fire. He spoke of truth and of Rome's sin, that we have chained the divine to law." Her words shook the court. Some called it madness, others blasphemy. Yet a few, very few, whispered that she was telling the truth. Because beneath the marble of Rome's temples, in catacombs and cellars, strange murals had begun to appear. Her woman crowned in laurel, holding a torch, her eyes burning gold. Beside her, a shadow figure with horns of ivy. Not Satan, that name had not yet taken root, but something older, something that smiled as empires fell. The trial became spectacle. The emperor himself presided, demanding witnesses, omens, proof. They brought Cornelia before the Senate, pale as wax, dressed in white, her hands bound. And when asked if she denied the devil, she said only, "If the god of Rome commands obedience through fear, then perhaps the devil is the only god who loves us free." Gasps filled the hall. A Vestal, a symbol of Rome's virtue, had spoken words that could burn a city. That night the eternal flame went out. Some said it was the wind. Others swore they saw the fire dim, as if suffocated by an unseen hand. By dawn, Domitian had already signed the sentence. Cornelia was buried alive at the Colline Gate, the place of execution reserved for her kind. As the earth closed over her, witnesses said they smelled not decay but incense. And from beneath the soil for 3 nights the ground glowed faintly red. Domitian ordered the tomb sealed forever. But weeks later, rumors spread that strange music could be heard beneath the forum on moonless nights, flutes and laughter echoing through the stone. Some claimed it was the Bacchantes celebrating vengeance. Others whispered it was Cornelia herself, her soul freed from Rome's chains, dancing with the god who came to her in fire. And then, as suddenly as it began, the whispers stopped. Domitian was assassinated, his statues torn down, his name cursed. The Senate declared him damnatus memoriae, erased from history, but not everything was erased. A century later, archaeologists uncovered fragments of a temple wall scorched black, its carvings half melted. It showed a woman, hair like flame, holding a lamp toward a shadowed figure, half man, half beast, kneeling before her. Beneath them was carved a single Latin phrase, amor vincit omnia, love conquers all. No one knows who built it or when. But among historians, some still debate, was Cornelia a heretic or the first woman in Rome to challenge the gods themselves? Centuries pass and empires rot in silence. But legends, they never die. They wait, like embers beneath ash, for the wind to stir them again. And in the ruins of Rome, long after Cornelia was buried alive, her whisper returned. They said a curse had fallen upon the eternal city. The fires of Vesta burned dim, the crops withered, and strange symbols began to appear on the walls of the old temples, a woman's eyes surrounded by flame. The priests said it was blasphemy, the poets said it was art, but the people, they began to believe it was her. Cornelia, the virgin who defied the gods, reborn as the spirit of forbidden truth, the one who danced with the devil and lived. In the taverns, soldiers would drink to her name, whispering that her ghost appeared on the Palatine Hill under blood-red moons. To men, she was temptation. To women, she was freedom. And to the priests, she was a warning. But Rome was changing. The empire's power was fading, its faith unraveling. New gods were rising from the east, gods who preached love and forgiveness but demanded obedience just the same. And so Cornelia's legend was not buried, it was stolen. Early Christian chroniclers retold her story, but twisted it. The devil, they said, had taken the form of an angel to deceive her. She was no longer a visionary, but a victim, seduced by the father of lies. Her love became her sin. Her name became a lesson. Yet beneath the sermons and scriptures, in hidden manuscripts and forbidden frescoes, another version survived. In one, found centuries later beneath the baths of Caracalla, an artist had painted her not as a sinner, but as a goddess. She stood with fire in her hands, naked, unashamed, the devil kneeling before her, bound by vines of ivy and gold. It was signed only with 3 letters, LVX Light. Scholars now think that secret societies, the cult of LVX, descendants of Rome's Bacchanalia, preserved her story in code. They called her the Mater Ignis, the Mother of Fire. To them, the devil was not evil, but the first rebel, the bringer of knowledge, and Cornelia, the first woman to love truth more than law. Her myth spread across Europe like smoke. In Byzantium, monks recorded visions of a red-haired woman who tempted the faithful to see the beauty in sin. In medieval France, troubadours sang of La Fiancée du Feu, the Bride of Fire, a tale of a nun who fell in love with an angel cast out of heaven. And by the time the Inquisition rose, the Church had given her a new name altogether, the Scarlet Saint. She was painted into cathedrals, not as a holy woman, but as a warning. A woman standing beside the devil, her hand on his chest, her face half in shadow. The message was clear. Where women speak with the divine, only corruption follows. But not everyone believed the warning. In 1327, a Dominican friar named Matteo of Rimini wrote a forbidden tract, De Virgine Daemone, of the Virgin and the Demon. In it, he dared to claim that Cornelia's vision was not possession, but prophecy, that she had glimpsed the truth behind creation, the union of light and shadow. For this, Matteo was executed. His writings burned, but copies survived, carried in secret through the centuries by heretics and mystics. It is from those pages that a chilling detail emerges. Matteo wrote that on the night before Cornelia's execution, as the priests sealed her into the tomb, she whispered a final prayer. If Rome fears what it cannot control, then may Rome never sleep again. The next morning, tremors shook the city. Lamps shattered, and a column of smoke rose from the Temple of Vesta, though no fire had been lit there in days. Coincidence or curse? When the Black Plague struck Europe 1,000 years later, Chroniclers in Florence wrote of a phantom woman seen walking through the streets, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. They called her La Donna del Fuoco, the Lady of Fire. They said she came to those who had lost faith, offering a single word before vanishing into the smoke: wake. The Church, of course, silenced such tales, but artists and scholars never forgot. From Botticelli's Venus to Caravaggio's Judith, her shadow appears, women radiant and defiant, caught between desire and damnation. And when witch hunts began, her name surfaced again in the confessions of the accused. Dozens of women from Germany to Spain spoke of a figure in their dreams, not Satan, but a dark lover who came with fire in his hands. He told them they were daughters of the same flame that once burned in Rome. To the inquisitors, it was proof of diabolic temptation. To historians, it was something far more haunting, the echo of Cornelia's rebellion, still whispering across time. Even in death, the Virgin of Fire refused to fade. Modern excavations near the old Forum have uncovered symbols carved into hidden stones, crescent moons crossed by flames, and a single Latin phrase etched deep into the rock: Ignis est veritas. The fire is truth. No one knows who placed them there. But it seems that even as empires fell, someone, some secret brotherhood or sisterhood, carried her message through the centuries. That love and freedom are one and the same. That the devil we fear may simply be the part of ourselves that dares to question. And so the legend of Cornelia, the Virgin and the Devil, still burns quietly in the dark corners of history. In every tale of the forbidden, in every painting of a fallen woman with a torch in her hand, you can still see her shadow, a ghost of Rome's lost fire. Because perhaps Cornelia was right. Perhaps the devil was never an enemy. Perhaps he was a mirror, showing us what holiness fears most: desire, curiosity, truth. And maybe that's why her story was buried. Not because she sinned, but because she saw the gods for what they truly were, reflections of power, draped in sanctity. She wasn't the virgin who fell. She was the first woman who stood. The bride of fire, the devil's truth. The curse that seduced Rome, and as long as we fear temptation more than tyranny, her flame will never die.